Hello, my lovely ladies. I'm Antique Athena, and I am so excited to see you all today. So, I've always been an old soul. I've always just loved the Victorian time period and the areas around it. And so, I get the lovely chance to dress like this every single day and present that kind of history to other people. But oftentimes, while I'm at work, I'll get the same question over and over again. How do you manage to do your hair? And how do you find all these accessories? Well, the truth is, I just have to find it all on my own because there's not very much history information about it. It is getting better, but that's something that we have recently rediscovered over the time that has happened to now. What most people don't realize is even though it was only 100 years ago, history wasn't very well recorded. They simply recorded the dates, and that was about it. So a lot of parts about the way people lived were lost. And so recently they have started to look a little bit more into the way people were living, the way people were dressing, what inspired all those different things. And so now we're starting to see a little bit more of what was truth, what was fiction, and what their lives actually were like. So we'll have a little bits of history in all of our videos, but this series is to talk about how the Victorians did their hair, which was actually quite interesting. We're going to have loads of fun learning about that. Now, getting into the background of it all, during the 1800s, the 1700s, and prior to that, any trends that were the time period, any fashion that was the time period, was all set by the royalty and the nobility, those with money. Today it's set by celebrities, then it was set by them. So during these different time periods, you'll hear things like the Victorian time period, the Edwardian time period, the Georgian time period. All of these were based off of the ruler of England at the time. So the longest one among those is the Victorian time period. It spans over several decades because she was queen for a very long time. And because she was queen for a very long time and no one ever wants to have the same style the entire time they're alive, the trends did change and varied over the years. So the most common style during that time period set by Queen Victoria herself was to have the hair pulled back really slick in a tight bun at the nape of the neck. There were a few little things that she added in her youth, but as a grown woman, as a married widow, she had just that, nothing else unless she just put a day cap over top of her hair. Now, many women did follow this trend, especially if they were married, but as we know, young ladies, we like to look pretty. We like to add things to our wardrobe and our hair to make us look more attractive and more lively and vivacious. So, we're going to go over a little bit of what the young ladies used to do to their hair because married women didn't really care. They were already married, they didn't need to attract attention. But the ladies, they were still looking. So we're going to put a little emphasis into some of the things that they did to their hair, some little tricks and tidbits, some tutorials to help you know what you can do, and this will be helpful for anyone who happens to be working in the same place I do, working at another place very similar, or maybe they're just trying to do a theater costume from the 1800s. And so this will help to kind of narrow it down, and it will be based off of the time period because every decade is different. It'd be the same as someone saying that someone from the 70s had a 20s hairstyle. That doesn't work very well. We definitely know that the 20s was the flapper era and the 70s was the disco era. If we mix those two together, they don't work. And it's the same thing during the 1800s. Not everyone had the same hairstyle and the same fashion sense for 100 years. Now, another thing, just real quick to add in, and we'll go over this a little bit more, is placement of where the person is living. That was also different. If you're closer to England, obviously you can follow the trends a lot easier. By the time it got out west in the United States, they still did follow the Victorian styles. They did change. They were a little bit behind the times as well. And so something that was in the 30s in England might be more in the 40s in America. So it's something else to keep in mind, and we'll discuss that a little bit more as we get into our video. So if you have any suggestions or any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And like this video, new videos will be coming along shortly, and you'll be able to see all my tutorials and tricks in the coming videos. Thank you. Bye.